Red alert, red alert.
You know, I always wonder to myself, how do atheists see the world? Do they see it like this? Like this? Maybe like this? Well, apparently they see it like this. Cool. Math. Don't get me wrong, I love math. It is important. I just don't know if I'd want to see it everywhere. Well, today's cartoon confirms how atheists and theists see the world. Atheists see the world as a set of compositions of physical laws, whereas Christians just cop out with the God done it excuse. The overall message is that atheists actually understand how the world works scientifically, and theists just chalk everything up to a giant bearded man in the sky. So where do all these math equations and chemical formulas come from? Well, I can't read all of them because the cartoon's pretty low resolution, but I could make out a few, like for example, this equation for electromagnetic theory, which was devised by physicist and mathematician James Maxwell, a pretty hardcore Christian. Over here we see the chemical process of photosynthesis, which was discovered by Jan Ingenhousz, a Dutch physician, chemist, and engineer, also a deeply religious man. And here we see the process of respiration, where oxygen is converted into carbon dioxide. This was discovered by natural philosopher, chemist, and educator Joseph Priestley, who was a clergyman, albeit a controversial one, but a clergyman nonetheless. In fact, many of the physical laws governing the universe and natural processes were discovered by Christians like Isaac Newton, Johann Kepler, Galileo Galilei, Robert Boyle, Michael Faraday, James Joule, Kevin Moyne Thompson, and the list goes on and on and on. Which, if you think about it, is kind of ironic, because that means atheists have Christian scientists that think foreseeing the world as they do. But the major point here is that Christians also see the world through physical laws and chemical compositions. Surely Christian adults today, earning degrees in physics, chemistry, and other fields, see the world this way. So the statement is then guilty of making a false generalization of theists if some theists do see mathematical values that explain our world. To correct it, our cartoon would have to say some theists. Now atheists may argue that it should actually say most theists, and maybe they're right. But to make things equal, let's transition to the atheist side. Here we also see a generalization, but this time it is showing that all atheists are privy to these mathematical formulas. Surely many atheists are not. I can recollect an atheist once telling me that we use radiology to date rocks. I highly doubt the same individual has all these equations memorized. In fact, I wouldn't even expect many well-educated atheists to know these formulas. So I think it is safe to say that the more accurate statement would be some atheists. But if we did reword the statements in this fashion, the false dichotomy created by the cartoon is lost, and no longer serves its purpose of making theists look dumb and atheists look smart. Now some of you may think I'm missing the point. The point of this cartoon is to demonstrate that atheists look towards science to explain the world around them, whereas Christians just look towards God to explain the world around them. And this is absolutely correct, but it needs some clarification. Atheists do indeed look towards science to explain the world as we see it, but most atheists probably couldn't tell you what formulas these are, much less solve for them. Most atheists are more likely to just chalk everything up to science, and a cop-out no different from the God-done-it one. How do trees live? Science. How do animals respire? Science. How does Maxwell's electromagnetic equations fit within Newtonian physics? Science. Why is the sun hot? Science. Why are bunnies so cute? Science. Christians, on the other hand, do indeed believe God is responsible for everything, but they also adhere to science as the means to establish that God is behind everything. See, mathematics does not actually cause anything to happen. These equations and formulas only identify and describe the laws and processes of the natural world that are already in place. The common perception being that the universe is highly ordered, mathematically precise, and comprehensible, which is not to be expected if there was no orderly intelligent source behind its creation. For example, Ingenhousz, the man behind photosynthesis, believed that the balance in nature is a grand expression of the harmony created by God. Professor of mathematics at Oxford University John Lennox says, "For me, as a Christian believer, the beauty of the scientific laws only reinforces my faith in an intelligent, divine, creative force at work." So at the end of the day, the very equations that all atheists supposedly see ends up being the very thing that reinforces the faith of theistic scientists. Thank you for watching, and feel free to comment with your opinion on the subject. If you like my work, please be sure to share or like my video and check out some of my other short movies. Most importantly, if you have a cartoon or meme you want rebutted, be sure to email me at redrebuttal@gmail.com.